Right. Okay. Good evening, or good afternoon, I should say, everyone. This is Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, America's number one dispatcher and freight broker training. I wanted to come in and give you a deal. Okay. So it is Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 at 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wanted to provide some content for you and announce what we're having from now until the end of the year. Okay, so you can see me sharing my screen here, right? The Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Okay, America's number one dispatcher and freight broker training. See me moving into the Logistics Learning Center. This is the Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners channel. Okay, so I am announcing from now, today, the 28th, until the end of the year, January 1st, 2026, we are having a $100 off sale on our ongoing training, our 90-day self-paced ongoing training. So it was $100 off. It used to be $399 for the 90-day self-paced training. Now it's $299. So if you go to the page here, right, drew a line through the $399 is $100 off. It's $299 for the single member, and then for two people, 2 for 1, instead of $599, it is $499. Right, you get the $100 off. If you hit the purchase now, you'll see the difference in the price. You'll go through the products menu to go ahead and do the payment as well as the 2 for 1. Okay. Go ahead and bring that up. There we go. So the what do you get with the training? You're gonna get the same level of training that you would if it was at the regular price. It's just we're marketing it off $100, right? It's $100 mark off. So you'll still get the back office members portal set up with your own email and password. You'll get the back office orientation, the setup. Let me go to that as a matter of fact to give you a guide to that. Let's go to our main menu portal, log in, and here. So as a student, if you become a 90-day self-paced training member, then you will get access to this portal, this back office portal, okay, which contains orientation. When you first enroll into any program, well, our program, I'll just speak for us, we have an orientation to kind of introduce you and get you acclimated, especially if you're someone who's brand new, who's never done this before, who's never been involved in transportation, or whether it's dispatching, whether it's brokering, whether it's trucking, or any level of transportation or logistics. Um, we give you orientation. We'll have a video for you and say, hey, welcome. Thank you for choosing us to enroll in. And then we give you 3 ebooks to download and a glossary. Okay. And over time, we will be updating those PDFs, right? So let's back to the main menu. That's the first thing you should do. So this first column where it says start here would be a good idea to start there. Okay. Business information. If you haven't started your company, business plan, business setup, business structure, resource links, business templates to kind of guide you and give you some information on how that's done. Okay. So, um, Like, how would you want to structure your company? LLC, get your EIN. Do you want to be a sole proprietor? Do you want to be an S Corp, a C Corp? So those are things that you want to consider. Okay. And business information is just that, it's business information. So we don't set your business up for you. That is your job, but we do point you in the correct direction of where to go and what to do. And this, you can Google in your particular state the setting up and or the forming of a company in your particular state, and then follow the guidelines of what they require. So if you're in Florida, if you're in Georgia, if you're in Ohio, Michigan, California, Texas, wherever you are in the country, you will Google how to start an LLC or how to start a company, a business, right? And we are in the logistics industry. So, okay, so that's the business form information. In the self-paced training, remember this is 90 days. Self-paced at your own pace. You can log in at 1 in the morning. You can log in at 3 in the afternoon. You can log in whenever you have free time, right? So we have our self-paced modules. These are the main focus of this portal. Everything else is kind of like extra and in addition to tools, docs, and resources. Okay. But the main meat, if you will, of the trainings are the modules. Okay. The self-paced modules. All right. Because and in a particular order too. So as an independent freight dispatcher, after you've created your company, structured it properly, got your documents in place, you would want to know how to dispatch. Well, before you are able to dispatch, you want to get someone to dispatch for, right? A trucking company or a carrier, an owner operator, single member trucking company, right? A carrier. So, module one, get carriers. Okay. And then module two goes over load boards. So in this training, we give you access to about 4 load boards. We share our logins, show you how to navigate and use those load boards to the best of your ability, understanding how to put in the right filters, the search criteria for the particular load that you're looking for the specific equipment type that you are um, dispatching, right? And speaking of that, in module one, under the getting carriers one, um, you will select your particular carrier who has a certain equipment type, a certain type of truck and trailer that they move loads or move freight with, and you choose that based off of certain criteria, certain things. So where they're located, what type of freight moves in that area. These are some of the qualifications that as a dispatcher, you want to decide what type of carriers you're going to have in the particular areas you're going to be in. Okay. And we go over those things. So, for example, the equipment types that we mainly focus on are 53-foot dry vans, 53-foot reefers or refrigerated, and then 48 to 53-foot flatbeds. So if we go back up to module one, get carriers, it is in module one that you will decide what type of carriers you'll focus on. And we discuss those. We go over the dispatcher packet. The dispatcher packet in module one, how to get carriers, is the packet that you need as a dispatch service when you are getting into a contract with the carrier or the owner operator. That's the dispatcher packet. The dispatcher packet, according to our training, contains the dispatcher agreement, which is the contract between you and the carrier, the owner operator, the truck driver. And we have templates on how to put that together. So that's number one. Number two is the carrier profile. A profile of someone, they're telling you what they want in a load or in a shipment, right? How do they want their loads found? What are they looking for? $3 a mile for my dry van, or $2.50 a mile for my $2.50 per mile for my flatbed running in certain areas of the country. Most carriers are familiar with certain areas of the country where they want to run and maintain loads. Most carriers know that. Okay. So that's it. And then the third piece is the limited power of attorney, which the carrier is allowing you to represent them uh, in the negotiating process between you and the entity that you'll be getting loads for them from. Primarily, that will be people called freight brokers, but sometimes you may have the opportunity to get loads from direct customers or shippers. Okay, so you may have that opportunity. So the dispatcher packet contains the dispatcher agreement, the carrier profile, and the limited power of attorney. Okay, carrier onboard docs. The carrier onboard docs, let me discuss that a little bit, because in addition to sending out the packet that you have designed from our templates, you will need to receive back, in addition to that, you will need to receive back to your dispatching firm copies of the carrier's onboarding documents. Well, Charles, what are the carrier onboarding documents, you ask? Carrier's onboarding documents are a copy of their authority. Every owner, operator, carrier, truck driver that you wish and hope to desire to dispatch for needs to show you that they have the authority to do so, to dispatch. Having a motor carrier having an authority means that they have been authorized from the FMCSA and DOT. FMCSA stands for Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. DOT stands for Department of Transportation. These are the governing bodies that give the motor carriers the authority or permission to transport freight or commerce and to get paid for that. So you need a copy of that certificate from your carrier. You would also need a copy of a certificate of insurance saying that the carrier has enough insurance to cover what they have the authority to transport. And then you need a copy of the carrier's W-9 saying that they have an EIN. They are a business, a company, a transportation company, right? They are a legitimate company. Because why would you give a brokered load to a carrier who's not in business, right? That does not make sense. So, and then in addition to the carrier onboarding documents, there are some other documents assuming that your carrier works with what's called a factoring company. I don't want to get too detailed about that part, but if your carrier, because before you meeting that carrier, they may have been running loads, they may have been working with a factoring company. That's just something you're going to learn, right? So factoring companies help carriers with cash flow to keep them running, to keep, upfront monies. Okay. We'll get into detail later about that. Also in module 1, and again, remember, this is self-paced 90 days. So you have plenty of time. I decided or made a decision or the assumption, I could be wrong, that 90 days should be more than enough time for you to grasp the concept of how dispatching works. Then everything else just becomes repetitive, so you can get it down to a science. Okay. The 3 major equipment types. These are the truck and trailers, or tractors and trailers, that we recommend new dispatching services start with, or someone who comes in with very little, if any, experience to start with, right? So the first of which is the dry van, 53-foot trailer attached, a dry van trailer attached to a tractor. So that is a 53-foot dry van equipment type. The definition, or the term equipment type, is defined as the tractor connected to the trailer, or the type of trailer. So the type of trailer defines the equipment type. So this is a dry van trailer, 53 feet. So this is a dry van equipment type. Okay. So that's number 1, right? Number 2, is the refrigerated trailer, right? It's a reefer trailer. It's called a reefer for short, reefer, refrigerated. Temperature control, that's another name for it, because it has a temperature control unit on the front of it to keep either hot or cold what's being transported inside. Okay. So, and then that's the second equipment type. The third equipment type is the flatbed, or a 53-foot flatbed trailer connected to the truck. That is a flatbed equipment type. Those are the three beginner level equipment types that we here at Exodus Logistics Learning Center Dispatcher 101 recommend new dispatch services begin with. Okay, start. We don't say you're limited to that, but we say you want to start. That's the easiest way to come into this industry. There are specialty equipment types, and a lot of people have been talking about them. Well, here they are. Power only, that is just a tractor. Box trucks, a lot of people talk about box trucks. I get a lot of calls from box truck carriers, box truck dispatchers. Hot shots, the dually pickup truck with the trailer connected to it. And then the sprinter vans and cargo vans. Okay. So those are specialty equipment types. I'm not saying you can't try to dispatch for those. I'm just saying that it is easier for you to come into the industry starting with the three major equipment types. Okay. So, back to the main menu. So again, the modules are the meat of the course. We're having a $100 off sale from now until the beginning of the year. So you're saving even more on an already lowest price for dispatch training detailed for beginner level training anyway. Get an additional $100 off. So I'm trying to get at least 100 dispatchers signed up by the end of the year. And I may do the same for the broker side, but this is the dispatcher side. So, and then the load boards is module 2. Module 2, we train you how to. So once you get a carrier from module 1, we train you on how to find loads according to the profile of the carrier. The search criteria, what are they looking for? What is their equipment type? Module 3, how do you book that load? What's all involved there? Namely with the broker, the freight broker. Most new dispatchers are going to be booking loads and getting freight or shipments for their carriers using the load boards and talking to what's called a freight broker. Freight brokers post their loads on the load boards for sale to the motor carriers. That's how they make their money. And then carriers make their money by grabbing a load that they see that they like, that meets their requirements, and then trying to negotiate a little bit more money as well, right? And you, the dispatcher, come into that equation a little bit too, because you are assisting the carrier. And then module 4 is invoicing. Invoicing means that you are invoicing the carrier for your service of dispatching for them. Okay. You may charge a flat fee for the week or a percentage per load. So that's a choice of yours. And we cover that. We go over that in the trainings. So every module, we break it down very thoroughly. We have Zoom calls with that. Every module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now, the second column in our back office portal pertains to extra services that's used, extra tools, resources, and documents that are going to assist you as you progress through the modules. Okay. So, as you progress through the modules, like forms and documents are different forms and document templates that we use to help guide you through that process. I'm texting at the same time. Apologies, because I got someone asking questions. We have how-to videos on specific topics. The most common topics we ask, we made a how-to video. So as questions are asked repetitively, we have made how-to videos to answer those repetitive type questions. And then we have our tools and resources in here. Let me click this for 1 second. And we have various tools and resources that will help the dispatcher tremendously, like weather, truck directories, trend lines, and safer, truck and trailer, national truck and trailer. We have electronic notary, shippers list, major interstate publications. So we have several, and then we have a bunch of PDF documents that are like very resourceful. So, and these images, if you click them, they go to the website of that image. Okay. Along with if you click the link, the name also that's a hyperlink. Okay, so you click that also, it'll take you there. Okay. Truck router. So we have a bunch of resources, maps. There you go. Different zones, the state, interstates. So it's very useful. And then forms and docs. Let's go to forms and documents for 1 second. Okay. And then each button you click in the back office, there is a YouTube video at the top explaining that specific area. And then you get into the actual documents that you may or may not be able to use for yourself. Like, for example, this is forms and documents. So the common forms and documents that you'll be needing as an independent freight dispatcher: the dispatcher agreement. Remember the dispatcher packet, those 3 documents? Well, here's the dispatcher agreement in PDF and Word format right there. Here's the carrier profile in PDF and Word. You usually download the Word format, update it with your stuff, and then resave it. And then the limited power of attorney in PDF and Word. Okay. And then we have carrier, remember the carrier onboarding documents, the MC authority certificate, the certificate of insurance, the W-9, and then the factoring information that we were talking about. I didn't mention it earlier, but with factoring, if your carrier happens to have a factoring company, then that factoring company should have a credit application as well as a notice of assignment available to your carrier to send to any and every broker that you or the carrier will be booking loads or trying to book loads with. Okay. And then we got broker onboarding documents. When you decide to get a broker or you guys agree on a particular load, that broker is going to want to qualify your carrier, right? Well, that process is the broker carrier agreement. Okay. So and then we have miscellaneous documents that helps you as a dispatcher. Okay. And screenshots and different things. So this area is important as well. Okay. So this is our 90-day program. But the main purpose, and we have quizzes, and each module has a quiz. We have dispatch final exam, a certificate for completion for this course, 90-day course. And then we have our miscellaneous Facebook private group merch. We do referrals. We design websites for you in Wix. You can add a comment. We have our Zoom training schedule. We have the training videos library, because during this 90-day course, we do offer, we have our Zoom calls are recorded. Okay. So, and they are stored in the training videos library. And then here's our Zoom calendar. So we are in the month of October. We've actually finished Zoom calls for this month, the 25th. It's every second and fourth week of each month, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays generally. On Mondays, we have our dispatcher mentorship. We do also have mentorship as well, but the Zoom calls for the ongoing students are Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays every second and fourth week. Okay. So, and then we have a training videos library as well, and that's here. So every Zoom call that's on second and fourth week, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, are recorded, and they're stored and grouped in months in the training videos library. So you can go to a particular month. Let's say, for example, October. We'll go back to the top. Let's say May. Go down to May. Go back to the top. Let's say January. Go to January's videos right there. And then go through the different videos. And then go back to the top if you want to see. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. Okay. But the main point of this YouTube video currently for this YouTube channel is we're having a $100 off sale. So the regular ongoing 90-day course was $399. Now it's $100 off. So now it's $299. $299. So if you click that, you're going to take you to the old single member $399. Single member $399. Now it's $299 because that's $100 off. If the 2-for-1 was $599, it's $100 off. Now it's $499. Okay. And if you click their respective buttons, it'll give you the right price with the already added $100 off. Okay. So, any questions, you can call me at 757 515 1684. And I'm putting that into the chat and in my email, Exodus Logistics LLC@yahoo.com. I didn't want to keep you guys too long. Just wanted to give that information for you and go from there. All right. Hopefully see you guys soon. I will have November's calendar up for the trainings. If you are a student or someone who's interested, you don't have access to the portal. You just go to the homepage and go under the Dispatcher 101 header. That's public, and then you just hit the Zoom calendar. It'll take you to the same location as if you were in the back office. People who have access to the back office are already enrolled students, but you can access it from outside of the portal. Just hovering your mouse over Dispatcher 101 and clicking the Zoom calendar, the first option. Okay. So, all righty. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you guys signing up. Looking forward to becoming dispatchers, freight dispatchers. All right.